Hi art students, it's time for another video. So we're into the second trimester and we're working on new projects. Just make sure that you finish. Um, there's one project from last trimester that you need to finish up, and make sure you send me pictures or bring it to schools, turn it in so I can get your project so I can grade it. And these are the projects you have to keep in mind. Fourth grade, you have to finish up your Comic Heroes project. That was your packet where you draw all kinds of cool comic stuff. Fifth grade, and upper multi-age, you have to do your kaleidoscope. So remember we did that kaleidoscope. Make sure that's finished, and you can turn that into school so I can get it and mount it. And then finally, sixth grade, be sure to finish up your 3D shoe. So put that together, bring it to school, turn it in, send me a picture. Bring it to school. Even if you send me a picture, I want to collect them so that I can, me and Mrs. Curry, we can put shoelaces on them, stuff like that. I mean, I can kind of fix it if you have a little problem taping it or whatever. So make sure you bring those projects in. We worked on them last trimester, but it was near the end of the trimester, and I'm grading them for this trimester. So make sure you just turn those in. Don't neglect those so I can get them. And that's that. Today we're going to work on something else, obviously, moving forward. But first, let's talk about Godzilla of the Week, right? So last time we did Godzilla 1954, and now we're going to do Biollante. Biollante is a giant plant monster. So I'm going to show you what he looks like. He's kind of awesome. He's normally he's got a lot of these arm tentacles with mouths. So I have a couple of them here. So here. He's kind of in pieces right. He's kind of in pieces right now. So here you can see he's got these awesome mouths. This mouth opens, so you can kind of. He's a giant plant monster, Biollante, right? And he's from the 1989 film Godzilla vs. Biollante. So he's pretty awesome. Netflix has a new. Oh, there's some pieces missing here. I have them all in a bag though. He's got all kinds of parts. So, but anyways, Netflix has a new show, a new Godzilla cartoon, and I forget what it's called, but it's like sci-fi and stuff like that. And the Godzilla in that, it's like an anime, on Netflix. But he's like super gigantic. He's like a giant plant monster. Kind of reminds me of this Biollante look. So the new the Godzilla in that he's really cool. He's huge and kind of scary. So I don't know. Anyways, that's it. So that's it for Godzilla of the Week, and let's get started on our artwork. Hi, fifth graders. Today we're going to start our new project. It's going to be a paper quilt. You're going to get these supplies. You're going to get black paper, pink, red, and pink, red, and purple. So you get these 4 papers. You're going to take them home, and I'm going to show you how to cut it out and glue it together. But here's some examples of the paper quilt. Yours may look a little different. I'm going to lead you part of the way. And then some of these details you can add or change yourself to make your project look as good as possible. The most important thing though is, as you can see on this one, when you layer a lot of different colors on top of each other, different shapes, they create a more detailed design, and it looks really good. So that's what you want to keep in mind, but we'll talk about this in the second and third week. For today, we're just going to set up our quilt, okay? And that'll be that. So, okay, so I'm going to put these to the side. The first thing we want to do is we're going to take our purple paper, and our purple paper is going to be our the background of our quilt, okay? So the first thing you want to do is you definitely want to put your name on the back of your paper, okay? Don't put it like on a side. We're gonna cut off a side. So make sure you kind of put it in the middle. So I'm gonna put Mr. Smith. I'm gonna put my name here. So that's the first thing you're gonna do. You're gonna put your name down. Make sure you can read it, and then put the letter of the class you're in. If you're in Johnson, you'll put a J, circle it. If you're in Verveldi, you'll put like a V, circle it, right? That way I know it'll help me collect your projects better, okay? Now, these supplies will be in your classroom, but if you're remote, these supplies will be in the office art folder. There'll be a 5th grade folder for art, and your parent or you, if they send you in or whatever, you can go in. There'll be a 5th grade folder, and you'll go in there, and then there'll be another folder for this week, which will be December 3rd, right? And there you will find, oh no, actually, I'm sorry, it's not December 3rd, it's December, well, it's November 30th, December 1st. But you'll see it. It'll be in there. And then you'll just take your papers home, right? So it'll be in the office if you need to pick it up. Okay, so we have our name on our paper. We're going to flip that over. Now, we need a square. So we need a square with our paper. So you're going to use a ruler. You have to have a ruler. So if your parents don't have a ruler, I don't know what to tell you. You just say, could you please get a ruler? We should have a ruler in the house. Now, they're fancy art rulers like this. Maybe you have one. I don't know. But you don't. Any ruler will do, right? So just a ruler. Maybe you have a yardstick. Like a yardstick is like 36 inches. But most households have one of those things. If you don't, I don't know, ask your mom or dad. See what they got, you know. But you need a ruler. Anyways, okay. If you don't have a ruler, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not sending them home because we don't have enough of these rulers to send home. And you should have one. Okay, if you don't have a ruler, you could use, please get a ruler. But if you don't have a ruler, you know, you could use a tape measure. I'm sure your parents have a tape measure to measure, and then you can get like a side of a book, like to draw. You need to draw a straight line. You just can't draw it. You got to use a ruler to draw a straight line. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a 9-inch square. So this direction is already 9 inches, or at least it should be. Ooh, it's not. It's close to 9 inches. It's almost 9 inches. But we're just going to assume it's 9 inches. Mine's a quarter less. I think the paper you'll get from school will be 9 inches. I'm using paper from home, so it's slightly different. So anyways, I'm going to go 9 inches. Okay. I did a little less than 9 inches, but you're going to do 9 inches because my paper is not fully 9 inches. And we're going to put a mark on the top at 9 inches and a mark on the bottom. So you're going to measure from this corner. Oh, shoot, I totally failed. See, this ruler, it doesn't start, the inches don't start until right here. They have a little extra wood there. Wow. If you have a nicer ruler at home, you probably won't have to deal with that. Okay, here we go. Let's try again. Okay. Okay. All right. So once I have a mark on the top and a mark on the bottom, you're only going to have one mark. You're going to connect those two marks on your ruler like this. Mark there, and you're going to draw your line. You're going to draw your line. Wow, I didn't really connect that very well, did I? Okay, so like that. And that way you know where to cut off. Right? And you'll be left with a square. So you can just double check. You can be like, okay, this is like 9 inches, and this is by 9 inches. Yeah. Okay. And then you're going to cut off this excess. You need to have scissors. Hopefully you have a scissors at home. Cut carefully. All right. Okay. So a square. Don't throw the scraps away. Do not throw these away. Do not throw these away. You need to save these for all the details and extras that we're going to use for our finished quilt, right? So don't throw these away. So I'm just going to put this away to the side. And you want to make sure your name's on the back. Make sure your name didn't get cut off on, you know, on your extra piece. Okay, so I'm golden here. I'm golden. So I'm going to put this away. Next, I'm going to take my black paper. So you want to use your black paper. And we're going to do the same thing. It's going to be 9 by 9. Okay, and you're going to put a mark on the bottom. So you measure from here, right? And then over here at 9. You're going to put a mark. Okay. Boy, I can barely see that. You can use a pencil. Okay, then you're going to draw your line. This is kind of hard to see, huh? You're going to connect your ruler to that point and this point. You're going to draw your line. There it is. It's hard to see, but there it is. You're going to cut it. You're going to make another square. Now, the reason why we did a 9 by 9 square on this black paper is just so that it could be easier. But we actually, and then keep this, right? Don't throw this away. Keep your scraps. Do not throw your scraps away. If you don't follow directions, you got to follow directions on this project, because if you don't, then you'll mess up. And I can't stress enough how important it is to follow directions. Okay, so don't just think you know what you're doing. Like, actually listen so that you do know what I'm doing. Okay, so now this is about the same size, but I need this to be a little smaller, right? I want this to be like this. I want it to be kind of, inside. So let's see, how much is that? Is that an inch? Yeah, we got to cut off 2 inches. Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut off 2 inches, 2 inches, and 2 inches to make a smaller. Right now it's 9, so it's going to be 7. It's going to be 7 by 7. But we started off with 9 because it would be easier to make it from a rectangle into a square. So now we want to make it 7 by 7. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, same thing. I'm going to measure 2 inches over here. So I go, so from this corner, I'm going to go 2 inches. Okay, and then over here, it's going to be 2 inches. If you're off like a teeny bit, it's okay. It's fine. Okay, so here I got 2 inches, so it's going to be 2 inches here. Okay. You can barely see that line. Yeah. So I'm going to cut that off. And then over here I want 2 inches. So I'm going to cut off 2 inches here and 2 inches there. Only on one side. Okay, so again, I'm going to go 2 inches. 2 inch mark. Two-inch mark. And I'm going to cut this. Okay. So there it is, you can see it. So now it should be 7 by 7. Let's find out. Yeah. So 7 by 7. Okay. So now I'm going to cut this part off, but I'm not going to throw that away. I'm going to save it for extra details, extra shapes. Like you can see how I can make 2-inch squares out of them, right? So there's a lot of cool stuff I can make out of this extra piece that we'll do next week. So do not throw your scraps away. Okay, so now I have a 7-inch square. Like, wow. Okay. Now you want to measure where to glue this thing, right? Now, obviously, you might be able to kind of just tell. Like, that looks pretty centered. But you want this to be centered on your purple paper. So you could measure. It's like, well, let's see. This is like 1 inch. That looks good. This is like 1 inch. Okay, let me measure this. That's 1 inch. This is, well, let's see. I got a camera in my way. Yeah, that's about right. What you could do is, don't make a big mark. Don't make a huge pencil mark, because then you'll see it, right? But you can make a very light pencil mark here, right in the corner, and then over here. Very light. Don't make it big, because I don't want to see that mark, right? I want your quilt to be neat and clean. I don't want to see big pencil marks on your thing, right? But anyways, if I put a corner mark and a corner mark here, and watch, I'll lift it up and you can kind of see it. See how small they are? You barely see them. That's just going to help me glue this thing on, right? Okay. All right, so now glue. When you use glue, you don't want to use too much glue, because it will it'll bubble up and not be very good. You don't want to smear glue. I mean, that's hard to do. I mean, this is like it's a skill, actually. Okay, so how do I recommend how to use this glue? Well, you definitely want to get it in the corners. So I'm going to go corners. My construction paper is thinner, so I have to tell you rapidly. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do first, then I'm going to do it real fast. I'm going to put glue in the corners, like kind of like a square, and then maybe sometimes you can put an X, or you can put like a little bit in between, or you can see a little bit of glue's coming out. But then you don't want to have a big blob. I use the orange tip to kind of smear that glue around, so it's not just like a big glob. Okay, so here we go. You don't want to use too much. The old saying is dot dot not a lot. Okay, now this is kind of blobby here, right? So I'm going to use the orange tip and I'm going to kind of smear that around, just so it's not so so much in one spot. Like, you can kind of spread it around. That's kind of a nice thing about you can kind of flatten it almost. If you have a glue stick, that'll work too. Make sure you get glue stick in the corners. Make sure you use enough glue to glue this thing down. We'll talk about that next week. Kind of smear it around. Boy, my paper's thin. You'll have thicker construction paper, so it won't. Mine might curl up a little. Okay, let's find out. I'm gonna find my marks. Got one right here. And you got one like right here. And you wanna very careful. Yeah, mine's thin. When I go back to school, I'm probably gonna just get some thicker construction paper, kind of like exactly the kind you're going to use. Oh, look at that. I got a little off. Ooh, you want to avoid that. Although, you know what? I'm going to be gluing other shapes on top of it very soon. Okay. Okay. Now, remember, here are my scraps. You can see it's starting to bubble up. My paper's thinner than yours, so mine will, I don't know. Anyways, don't use too much glue. And it'll look good. Now, remember, don't throw these away. Don't throw these scraps away. We need them. We're going to need them next week. You're going to have to like hold on to them, okay? But I'm going to put these to the side. So far, so good. I got a square in a square. Wow, that's amazing, right? Now, I want to get a diagonal square. So I'm going right for, boy, are we going to use red? I guess we're using pink. It doesn't really matter. I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to use red for your square? Use red. You want to use pink? Use pink. But the first thing I'm going to do is I need it's like 7.5 inches, I believe, and we'll have to cut it down if it's not exactly 7.5 inches. So I'm going to move this to the side. I need a 7.5 inch square here. So what can I do? Well, the first thing I can do is I can go here and I can measure to 7.5 inches. Where's the half-inch mark, you say? You should know, but in between the 7 and the 8, there's a long inch mark here. Right? Right in the middle, right? It's halfway. So that's the halfway mark in between 7 and 8 inch. So I'm going to put a mark there. 7.5 inches. And then I'm going to go up here. I'm not going to go, well, I guess I can go all the way. 7.5. All right. You can have a parent help you if you're having trouble. Now I want to draw my line. Okay. There it is. Now, this is way too long. This is 9 inches. I only need 7.5. So now I'm going to turn my paper this way. Oh, yeah, I'll do it like this. And I'll do another one. So let's see. It's going to be 7.5. And over here. You need to have 2 marks. You can't just do one. I'll show you why, but 7.5. So remember, the half-inch mark is the long mark in between the 7 and the 8. Okay, so I got a mark there. The reason why you don't just do one is because you think it's going to be straight, but you'll make your line and it won't be straight. It'll be close, but if you have 2 marks, one here and one here, you can connect them. Like, you can connect your ruler to it. So like my ruler, I put my ruler here, and I need to put my ruler here on this mark, and then I draw my line. There it is. Now, and then you can double check before you cut. You can go like, let's see, is this gonna be 7.5 inches? Yeah, that's 7.5 inches. Yeah, is this gonna be 7.5 inches? Let's see. Yeah. And then you can cut it out, and then save this pink part, right? Don't throw away the excess. You need to save every extra part. All right. Try to cut neatly too. Take your time. There. There it is. Okay, let's see if it works. I was just guesstimating that this would be the right... Oh, it looks too big. Oh, it's a little too big. Dude. You know what we'll do? I wonder if 7 inches would have done it. That looks like... Okay. So you have a choice here. You have a choice. You can... boy, 7.5 was way too much. I could have sworn that would have been good. This is like... I'll try 6. Here, I'll measure first. Well, here's what you can do. If you want to keep it like this, you can try to center it. The problem is you got to center it just right. You got to look at these black squares or triangles and make sure those are good. If you like it, you can put a little mark. You can put marks here and here, and then you can glue it down, and then you can just cut off the excess. You'll have these triangles, and save the triangles too. In fact, I really like that. If I cut this off here, I can put the triangle right here. Kind of want to do that, but I also kind of want to tell you. We'll do it this way. Let's do it this way, and then I will. I'll show you. I'll do a 6-inch one. You don't have to do a 6-inch one. You can if you want, but I'll do it, and then I'll see if that was the proper measurement, 6 inches. Okay, so here we go. So let's find the right spot here. You want to look at these triangles and try to match them. So this one looks a little bigger than this one. So I'm going to kind of move it up a little. Move it over a little. This will be hard for you. You could measure, like, I don't know, how much is that? That's like 3/4 of an inch. See, that one's an inch. That one's too long. So I need to push it this way a little. This could be hard for you guys. You want to try to get those just right. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to put a mark here. Okay, then I'm going to glue it down. Oh my gosh, my mark didn't even mark. It was so light. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to use some glue. You don't want to go all the way to the corners this time because we're going to cut those off, right? And then you want to smear this. Smear it with your orange tip. Make sure you get some glue on though. I don't know. You want to use glue, but not too much. I don't know what to tell you. If you smear it around, this will help. This is a lot of glue, but let's try it. Okay. Got to spread it down. And see, did I match it pretty good? This one looks a little smaller than that one. Okay, pull it here. Don't worry if it's not exactly perfect. You want it to be close. It'll look fine. Okay, so now I have these extra bits, right? These triangles. I'm going to cut them off and I want to glue them in here. So I'm going to kind of flip it over and I'm going to very carefully cut those off. That's a nice way to... This will be a nice way to get triangles. We're going to focus more on the triangles and what happens with them next week. Okay, I'm trying to cut you. Okay, it's a triangle. Whoa! My construction paper's thin. Can't handle the glue. You'll have nicer. Your paper will be a little thicker. Okay, cut. Okay, and okay. Okay, don't throw these away. We're using them. Some of these are bigger than others. Why? Because this wasn't perfectly placed. Well, fine. But before you glue them, let's see. Let's try to find, like, where's the bigger triangle here? That this one. See, I got a small triangle. So yeah, they're different in size. So the small triangle goes in a smaller place. Like, that'll look good there. I wonder, are these the big ones? Yeah. So you want to try to find them. Like, don't glue them yet. Try to place them. I think this one's smaller, so it probably goes here. And this one's a little bigger, so this one will go here. Wow, that's pretty cool. So see how it gives, so when I glue these down, it's going to give me a tight, real thin black line there, but it'll look real neat by putting this on top of it. Now, if for some reason, like your new triangle completely covers up the black, then, in fact, I almost want to cut these down a little bit. You can cut them down. Maybe I will cut them down. So watch. Just be careful when you do it. So I'm going to cut this down a little bit. So it's just a smaller triangle. I want my triangles to be a little smaller. I want to actually see that black. I'm not cutting them down like a ton, like just a little, so I can just see a little more black. This one, I don't need to cut as much because this one's already kind of small. So you'll have to make a judgment call. Judgment calls like where you kind of look at your own project, because I'm not there. This one's so small already, I don't think I need to cut it. I'm going to leave that one. Okay, so those look pretty good. So now I'm going to glue these down. So already it's looking kind of cool, like interesting. There's not a lot of black in there, but you definitely want to see some black. Okay, I'm going to check this. Okay, so here, I'm going for it. I could even do this too. You know, there's a lot of different things you can do. Boy, maybe I'll do this. See, this is where you can be creative and have fun. Like, you can decide what you want to do. This is going to be your quilt. The only thing that I really want you to do is I want you to use, and we'll talk about it next week because it's like a 3-week project, but you're going to layer shapes and shapes on top of each other. You're going to put them in different positions, triangles, squares, and diamonds. Squares, if you have a square and you turn it on its like side, it'll be like a diamond, kind of like this one. So we're going to do a lot of squares, a lot of triangles, and diamonds, and it'll create a real nice quilt effect. So at first I was thinking, I want to put these right here, and you could do that if you want. Or you could put this right in the corner of your quilt too. I kind of like that. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So it's up to you. You can be creative. I'm actually going to do this. So here we go. Like, oh, I already glued them here, and now I want to do that. Just leave it where it is if you already glued it. Okay, so here we go. Okay. We didn't even get to the red yet. We'll use red next week. Oh, but you know what I'm going to do, though? I'm going to measure to see what a proper diamond on the inside would have been. I think it might have been like 6 inches. We'll find out. Okay. Yeah, my paper's bubbling up because it's not very, it's cheaper than the paper we have at school. It's thin. Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, so far so good. I'm well on my way. Let me try one more thing. I'm gonna move this out of the way. I'm gonna try a 6-inch square and see if that would have been enough. I didn't pre-measure. Okay, so again, I'm gonna go 6 inches. All right. So this is optional. You can do this. We'll probably do something like this next week. So you might, I mean, you can do it if you want, if you're watching. Okay. The metal part in my ruler is messing me up. Okay. 6 inches. Okay. Okay. So let me cut this out. Let me see if this would have fit on my 9-inch square. Wow. Let me see what I'm doing. I have a camera in my way. Okay. Remember, keep all the scraps. You're keeping all the scraps. for next time. Let's see, will this would have worked? No. So it's probably like, I don't know, 6 1/4. That looks pretty nice, doesn't it? So that's a 6-inch square. 6-inch square. Yeah, I'm totally gluing that in there. I'm doing that right now. So 6-inch square if you want. I'm doing it. Normally it's like an X and you'd go on these lines. I just kind of... But remember, the key is, see that big blob there? Spread it around. Spread this stuff around. Don't use too much glue. This is a lot. I used a lot of glue. But I'm also trying to spread it around. Okay, now this is going to be a diagonal. So it's a square, right? Oh, it looks so neat like that. So this is the fun. This is why this project is so much fun, is that you can do different things. So if you want to go like this, here you can see those black edges there. But I want to do a diamond, so I'm going to do it like this, but I could have. So you can be kind of creative, which is good for a project like this. And you can kind of glue your shapes in different positions. The goal, though, is you're going to discover different kinds of designs as we cut out stuff. And so we'll talk about that next week. But like, for instance, we're going to do like a square. Let's see, do I have any more of my dark purple? Yeah. We'll do this next week, though. But if I do a square, like if I do a square, and I put my square in this corner, then that will also give me that nice edge. And then I can put another black square on top of it, or I can turn it so it's a diamond. So there's a lot of really fun, different designs that you could create your own kind of quilt, and it'll be fun. So whatever way you like it. So like I did my red square. This is a 6-inch red square. I did it diagonal at a 45-degree angle, so it looks like a diamond. It's still a square. I could have put my square like this, and then it would have framed, you know, some of that black. I leave it up to you. Anyways, this is the beginning. This is the beginning of our quilt project. We're going to work on this for 3 weeks, and we're going to put, now remember, do not throw these away, these parts. So you can get a paper clip, or you can just very carefully put this on your desk, or put it in a folder maybe. You can put it in a folder so that way you don't lose all of these parts, okay? Because we use all these parts, and you can't just get more construction paper because you're careless and threw it away. You need to be careful and follow directions, and because I'm telling you like 20 times to not throw this away, so don't throw it away. It's like, I threw it away. That would be embarrassing. Even though I have to totally, don't forget, put your name on the back of your paper. That's huge. Because I have a lot of students where it's like, you turn it in and I don't know if it's your project or not, because you didn't put your name on it. So you'll put your name and then put the letter of the class you're in. But so far so good. This is looking interesting. This is week 1. So we'll work on this next week, and we'll add more details. And then the 3rd week we'll add even some more details. It'll look amazing. And then you'll turn it in. So turn it in before Christmas break and bring it to school. So hopefully you had, hopefully that was the beginning of fun for this project. Next week it's going to be more detailed and more interesting. But remember, don't jump the gun. Wait for me. I'll give you some suggestions next week. Don't throw these away. Put them in a folder. Keep them. Paper clip them to your project. Hold on to this because this is a 3-week project. Don't finish it after the first week and turn it in, right? I mean, you know, unless there's some weird kind of special circumstance, like you're going to be gone for the last 2 weeks. Anyways, I hope you had fun. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.